All right, welcome back to another episode of the Musicians Talk Show. This is episode 6. I am one of your 3 hosts for today. Surprise guest hosts. Dallas DeWhite here.
Matt Tolley here.
And this is Logan Hindley.
Logan Hindley, guest co-hosting. You're still a co-host no matter how many there are, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
No limit to co.
Okay, you get 17 co-hosts.
It's a collaboration.
Right, so we have me, Matt, and Logan. And it's a talk show episode,
guys.
so absolutely. Probably won't happen again, but...
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much
that should have got more laughs. Now I just sound like a dick because it got 0 laughs.
To be honest, I was paying no attention to you. No.
Okay, so I did want to do a little bit of housekeeping up top for the listeners. We added a new page to our website at the top of the navigation bar. It's entitled Affiliates. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what that is, what it means, and how you guys can help support our show. Okay, so an affiliate is a company usually that we partner with to, what we do is we drive traffic to their site through you guys. And what they do is they give us some credit or some money or whatever back for doing so. So if you go on our affiliate site, you'll see we have Bandzoogle, Apple Music, iTunes, and Amazon. So if you click through those links, it's going to take you to those sites. You shop as you usually do. You don't have to do anything else. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And when you buy something or subscribe to something or whatever, those companies are going to give us a kickback, which helps us keep this show going. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. Be totally transparent about how that all works for those of you that might not know. We also have a support the show link, which we talk about in the outro of every episode. That's going to take you directly to our Patreon page where you can donate a certain amount and get rewards directly from us. So that's pretty cool. And if you choose to give in that way, we're super thankful. Anything you guys can do to help support this show and help us keep making the best, highest quality content and bringing you the best guests and the most entertainment and education we can, we're super thankful for that. So, all right, enough of the boring shit. Let's get into it. Discussion topics.
All right.
I'll ask it, and then, Matt, you can go first. Is the electric guitar disappearing from popular music? And I think the key word of that sentence is popular music.
Right. Yeah. Because music and popular music, popular music itself, I think it might be going away a little bit. Like we were just talking about earlier before the mics were turned on, that there's lots of music out there. There's so much now that it's hard for everybody to like one thing, and everybody's gonna have to find. They're able to find their perfect thing. It's out there for them because everybody's doing all kinds of different conglomeration mashup style music, and
that's an interesting mindset. Because my thinking is, people like to be where people are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
So the reason Lady Gaga has 1 billion and 10 fans is because 1 billion and 9 liked her, and the 10th was like, well, I got to be on this train. You know what I mean? So it kind of is like the bandwagon. That's all.
There's a little bit of bandwagon.
Contributes to the monster artists we see.
There's a little bit of the bandwagon thing for sure, but I think for a band to get so big that the bandwagon seems like the one you have to jump on is very hard to do. How does everybody?
Well, you also said band
or artists. We'll just say artists because it's not exclusive to bands.
Well, I would say mostly not bands are famous. It's usually the
true. Well,
because you're looking more at a personality, like almost like you would with an actor, or something.
Yeah.
What do you think, Blogie?
Well, I'd definitely say that I do think it's a larger thing than just not having the electric guitar necessarily, because it seems like so much popular music is more singer oriented than anything else.
Right.
Like you don't have the band vibe or the band feel as much anymore.
I actually did put us down a tangent about what popular is.
I did too. And
but I want to keep going down this rabbit hole and we'll get back to the actual question.
Yeah, true. And it also is super subjective because what's your definition of popular? Right. There's so many subsets.
And what's your definition of electric guitar?
Exactly.
Are you talking about raging solos? Are you talking about
right. Or just having
something like the
guitar
1975?
Yeah.
There's lots of new interesting music out there and it is guitar-centric music, but would you say it's the most popular? Not really. Lady Gaga does have guitar playing in her music, though, and she's a huge pop artist, so obviously not to be taken lightly. So disappearing? I don't know. I don't see any signs of it disappearing. As long as kids still pick it up and put it and express themselves with it.
Well, again, I come back to that word popular because sure, you're going to have your Rival Sons, your Greta Van Fleets, your Crowbots, those bands that are kind of keeping it alive. But you go down the street to Starbucks and stop anyone in there and be like, hey, you're a Greta Van Fleet fan? They're going to be like, what the fuck are you saying to me?
Right.
But if you say, are you a Lady Gaga fan? They're going to be like, absolutely. Right. Or, no, I hate her. But they're going to know her.
Yeah.
So
there's, it
comes back to popular. And does Lady Gaga have a ton of electric guitar? Not really.
Not a whole lot, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I guess that's kind of our definition that we're using for this purpose of popular is like when you ask someone on the street, do they know who you're talking about?
Yeah.
And I'd say that from what I can tell, it does kind of seem like the electric guitar that I know the three of us like to hear, like cool solos and where it kind of dictates the flow of things in the music or whatever.
Where it's one of the
key components.
It is the primary instrument.
Right, yeah. I am seeing it, I mean, we're all seeing it, I think, go away as a key component of music.
Right.
Sure.
It kind of shifts more to like the role like a horn section would have more for like accents or laying back and holding down,
Right. And it could be, I mean, how about all the new instruments there are? Like, what about the, all the different synthesizers and all the crazy things you can do now with the wave
which most of it is laid out for a keyboard, standard piano.
Right.
So
you can get a lot done sitting at your desk with a keyboard.
New is an interesting word to use because they are new instruments, but they're mapped out to what, is the oldest instrument ever.
Right.
Well,
similar.
I mean, let's not get super technical.
Right. Yeah.
Sure, there were lutes.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But
yeah, so that's interesting. That's a good question. Is it disappearing?
And it's sad because I mean we're all guitarists. We all play guitar.
Well, what does that say? We're young guys. I don't feel like we're not the future yet, or who knows,
We're not Lady Gaga yet.
No, we're not Lady Gaga yet. We're waiting on that.
But again, this is a great sidebar. My girlfriend loves American Idol, so we were talking about all the different winners and stuff.
I know where you're going.
My favorite is Caleb Johnson.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he's going to say.
So, I was wrong. I did not know where he was going.
But get this. We looked into the stats. His album. So I was not arguing with her, but talking to her about, how does all this work? Like, the people that watch American Idol are not the people that would like Caleb Johnson's music. He's a rock singer.
Right.
He's a kick-ass rock singer, dude.
Right.
Like, my God.
So then what is it then?
But the stat that made me think about all this was his. So he won. He was the winner. He was not number 2 like Daughtry.
Right.
Or he was the actual winner. So when you win, you get a bunch of cool stuff, record contract, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the album he put out was called Testify. It was the worst selling album of any winner of American Idol ever. Still to this day, I think. And I think he won. I don't even want to guess, but it was not super recently. It was like 2013 or 14.
So it's had some time and it still hasn't.
Well, I mean,
and the ones after
window
that
for that to sell is pretty immediate.
Right. But the winners from after that have already come in and they're doing better than he was. So that sets it as he's the lowest.
But then you hear about the other winners. Kelly Clarkson was a winner, right? Carrie Underwood.
Yeah. Well, some of the biggest ones for sure. But those were early days in American Idol.
Even someone like Taylor Hicks, who won Daughtry's season. And again, I'm only going off the very limited knowledge I know of the show. I'm not necessarily a fan of the show. But the fact that the rock and see, I listened to the album and it's okay. To me, it feels rushed. I can talk about that a lot.
Yeah,
I can talk about that at length.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't.
It really feels like the album was written for whoever won, and then they just kind of adapted the style for whoever won, and then it was like he recorded it the day after. Like that's what it feels like. Obviously, it wasn't. It feels super rushed. But it's a decent rock album. Great vocals on it.
Okay.
The music. It's okay. There's a couple good songs, but really good vocals.
I'll have to check that out.
And it's the worst selling one.
It's interesting.
So it's like the people that go or really in love with American Idol are not the people that would love a Caleb Johnson album.
Right.
I wonder.
That's me saying that rock is not popular.
Right.
Yeah. And I wonder if and I don't want to point any fingers, hypothetically, but I wonder if shows like American Idol and X Factor and all those singing shows have kind of taken away from the value of, musicians per se.
Dave Grohl has a very long post on it. That is,
because everything's so singer oriented. Like, when you ask people about music and stuff, usually they list off singers nowadays rather than bands. And
yep.
Again, I think it's a personality.
Right.
You have someone like a Lady Gaga who shows up in a meat dress.
Yeah.
It's like that's a personality. It has nothing to do with music. That is a big personality making statements that people are like, whoa,
Well, once again, we go back to, I think we may have said it before the mics came on, but oversaturation too. Like there's just so many.
Let's dive into that because I know you guys were talking about it while I was getting some stuff set up.
Yeah.
There's
and I was not listening, so I don't know what you guys were saying. So.
Well, there's so many different types of music now that you almost have to be showing up in a meat dress to catch somebody's attention because there's, like I said, just so much available that you can't even know where to begin
so it almost becomes like publicity stunt based of who's popular. It's like who can make the biggest noise and the biggest scene, and then the music just has to be good at that point.
Right.
Yeah, maybe. I would argue that was saying sure, but
I would argue with saying sure. That's not an argument.
I'm saying sure. I agree with you, but the cream will still rise to the top.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
I do.
Sure, there's a million artists, but 950,000 of them are absolute not shit, and everyone will know that immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's also the asshole factor, which is the factor is their music could be great, and I'll find out that there's an asshole in some way. You know what I mean? And it can immediately like just turn me off, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't really dig this anymore. Like I just don't dig it just because I know about this. You know?
That leads us to another discussion on what is an asshole. Is it? Is it?
That's very true.
Is it? Let's just give me any famous person.
John Mayer.
Is it meeting John Mayer in the street and he's having a really bad day and he dismisses you and you walk away thinking this guy's a jerk?
Yeah, I don't know.
He may or may not be.
See, I don't know.
Based on that encounter, you would think he is.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are because, all right, I'll tell you. Like personally, as an example for me, when Josh Homme kicked the reporter in the face or the camera photographer at his show, he was like she was down in the pit. And he sees her with the camera and walks by and whips his foot out and kicks her camera and it bops into her face, leaves her bruised and whatnot.
Damn.
And that's just one of those things you're just like, what is that all about, dude? Like that chick's just there taking pictures of your show, trying to help your thing. And when that kind of thing happens, you're just like, all right, there's other things at play here. There's alcohol, there's, other drugs maybe involved. And he's just having a good night, kind of getting loose and does some crazy shit.
Well, one of my biggest things is I try really, really hard to not judge without the full story.
Yeah.
She goes on, gives this tearful interview. I don't know the story. I'm just pretending. She gives this tearful interview about how he's abusive, and it's like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
But what was in his life that day? Was this the seventh photographer that he told to get the fuck out?
Yeah.
And she wouldn't do it, and he was like, fine, I'll kick the camera. And I didn't mean to kick you in the face. Like, I'm sorry about that.
Right.
But I really was sick of photographers at my show, and I said no photographers 10 times. Right. That kind of thing.
You never
the
know.
Axl Rose thing. Axl Rose diving in the crowd of St. Louis. And the riot that ensued there, it's the exact same thing. Could be the exact same thing. I don't know.
Just a snapping point.
And then sure, he could be a total dick. Who knows?
Well, there's
But I'm saying
lots of opinions on what an asshole is, like you said before.
And I hesitate to say this because I'd love to get him on the show, but one person that consistently comes up when you bring it up, can anyone guess who I'm thinking about?
You didn't just say it, right?
I did not.
Can you give us a hint as in the era time period?
80s.
I don't want
Neil
to say
Sean.
it. Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, okay.
I didn't know. I mean, if I say some other name, you're gonna be like, oh, okay. Now I know you know how he feels.
And again,
it's like we gotta be careful calling people assholes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've got a list of assholes here.
Matt, Logan.
I pay super close attention to assholes.
So it's unfortunate because I don't know him. I've never met him.
He does get that reputation.
The people that I know that do not have good stories. Right. And that's all of them.
Right.
All of them do not have good stories.
Right.
I know people that worked on his solo albums. We talked to Eddie Z.
Yeah.
Well, I remember back to when you were following like a Twitter back and forth between him and John Cain, right?
Yeah, that was not long ago. That was like a few months ago.
Tell us a little bit about that. That was kind of an asshole thing.
It seemed like they kind of both were. I don't remember it that much, but it was basically them bitching back and forth about like, I don't know. It was like a pissing contest within Journey.
I'm better than you.
Yeah, it was literally like, I've been here the whole time
Journey,
and I wrote all the hits.
Journey.
And it was like, dudes, this is in public, right? Like everyone can read this.
Right.
Like, text each other this. Like,
Damn.
don't tweet this.
Yeah.
Like you're both tweeting at each other and everyone's seeing this.
Like, yeah, you don't air your dirty laundry out on social media. It's not.
And and he would tweet all this like air quotes subtle stuff like, I'm the guitar player that's been in Journey the most. He changed his Twitter bio to like all caps, original guitarist of Journey, only all caps member to be in the band for the whole thing. It was like, or only member to play on every album, like something like that. And it was clearly like a tag at John Cain, which, dude, don't fuck with John Cain. He wrote all your hits. Like I've listened to stuff before he was in the band. It's not as good.
Right. So
like Kane wrote, "Faithfully, open arms, don't stop believing."
And you'll have everybody who feels their own way about it. So why have that argument out in social media? It just kind of makes you look. It makes you look.
It seemed
bad.
to me like he was the person that really got off on all the people being like, "Yeah, Neil, we got your back."
People.
Also, this is the guy. In Journey songs, it was like verse, chorus, and then like 84 measures of solo.
And we know because we had to map it all out, measure by measure.
Nice.
I do have a funny Neil Schon story though that I want to share.
Yeah.
So we did the Journey tribute. I think we've talked about it on the air at some point. For those of you that don't know, Logan was the bass player for that tribute. I was the guitarist. One of the things I did was I took an old Mexican Strat that I had that was Tobacco Sunburst. Actually, it was Daniel Kyers originally. And he gave it to me to fix up and stuff. And I never got to give it back to him. So what I did is I took it and kind of redid it. I upgraded it a lot. I took basically all the Mexican stuff out of it, put all American stuff in. The only part that's Mexican is the actual wood.
Right.
And I got it repainted and refinished.
Right.
Coincidentally to basically what his latest Strat looked like when he died. But what I did is I refinished it to look like the Strat that Neil Schon used to record Lights.
Right.
And it's
there it is, hanging up on the wall. Right,
hanging up on my wall behind me.
Yep.
And I posted a picture of my guitar next to him holding his guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
And I put it up on the Classic Journey Live Instagram.
Yeah.
And who comments?
Neil Schon?
Neil Schon comments on the photo.
He recognized that thing.
And this was not like his fan page. This was his page.
Right, cool.
That he runs.
Cool.
With the low blue check and all that shit.
Yeah.
And he said, he didn't say cool, he didn't say good, he didn't say any of that. He just said...
Got the knobs wrong or something.
He said mine had... what does mine have back there?
Black knobs.
So mine has 1 volume and 2 tones.
Right, yeah.
His has 1 volume and 1 tone,
right.
I think.
Yeah,
so he commented, except mine has 1 volume, 1 tone.
Right.
And then he did the smiley face with the sunshade glasses.
Yeah.
Sunglasses. Am I an idiot, dude? Sunshade?
Didn't he say something about the color too?
No.
Same color?
His is white, but it's really old.
I was talking
was in
about the color of the
79, and it
knob,
was an
right.
old guitar then.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a faded,
patina on
like
it,
pearlish, kind of aged yellow,
Yeah,
but it was white. Mine is very stark white, brand new paint.
Give yours some time. It'll yellow up.
It's already got a nice big
Leave it in
dent
the
because I
window.
slammed it into the desk.
I heard
on
that's how you
accident.
get guitars to yellow. If you leave them in like your sun window.
Really?
A window with the sun coming through, whatever. Just put it on.
Not
your
really
stand.
interested in yellowing any of my guitars.
No, I got the Fender Strat that is awesome. It's like my beater kind of, but it's a great player too. But it just has taken a lot of hits, and I decided that's just how that guitar is going to be.
Nice.
It's just one of my rough ones.
I love
really
when
angry and I'm
when
going
my
to play
Les Paul
guitar.
on.
That's what I play.
I love when my guitars get a little, what I call love on them, little scratches.
A little.
and dents.
Some places I don't like them. Like sometimes, like I've dropped a couple of mine and left some pretty bad marks on them. But
if it breaks, I'm not happy. But other than that, I'm cool.
Man, I've had chunks come out of my ESP. Like I have some rough.
I was not done with my Neil Schon story though. So what? So he comments that I wanted to write a comment back because Dallas doesn't take any shit. So not even from Neil Schon when I'm in a Journey tribute. So I wanted to write a comment back, but I didn't. I messaged him privately. Of course, I never heard back from this. But my comment was, I guess we just have more tone than you.
One more. That's it. One more tone.
Just one more tone.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So that was the time I got to dig in.
Did you get a response from that?
Nope, no response.
No response.
No.
I doubt he ever saw it, but sure. I like to think that he saw it and was like, that's funny.
I bet he saw it and closed his phone and be like, brat, or something.
I bet he saw it and got so worked up he had to go to the gym and lift or something. Like he was just so furious.
Would that make you happier if you wrecked his day? Or?
It wouldn't make me happier, but to me, he seems like that kind of guy. Where if someone did that to me, I would just be like, "Oh, that's a good burn." That's hilarious. And then I'd
I hope we get him on the show. We can find out.
Yeah, exactly. So there's the Neil Schon story.
Cool.
That's pretty awesome. You got to serve it to Sean.
Yeah, spinning off of the electric guitar thing. What's next on the discussion board?
Looks like a life without bands. Oh,
that too, but I didn't want to gloss over rock music in today's culture, which we kind of touched on a little bit.
Yeah, we touched.
But I think we could dive a little more into that thing you guys were talking about.
Yeah. The subgenres
because
being so vast
I see both
now.
sides of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the average music fan is not going to be going to seek out like synth, sub, Euro, tech pop. Like 7 different qualifiers. Like they're going to like pop and rock and metal and blues, the big genres. They're not going to dig into those subgenres.
Yeah.
You're going to have your music fans that do. But the general fan, which is probably 75% of people that listen to music, or 60, whatever the number is.
Here's the thought too. go ahead, General. Finish your thought. I was in.
No, I wouldn't go anywhere with it.
Okay, that's good. So what I was thinking is too that music doesn't go away. All right, until it's just people don't listen to it anymore, and they're even like we listen to some old music just to. Music's really not that old. It's only how old is music.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Too.
So, but then now we're at a place where it's never going away. It's not like it's gonna we're not gonna listen to that music anymore. Somebody's gonna find that 50s stuff and 40s stuff still, in 50, 60 years from now still. So there's that music for them that they like, plus the 50, 60 years that music has been built on since that. And then it's continue to build. There's just more and more music, and you're not going to be able to listen to everything. Like you find something you like, and you kind of listen to that for a while, and then you find something else you like. And there's really only, how many bands do you really, really like just feel, and you're just like, that's my band. Like it's not a whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if there's more generations of music to pick from, it's going to be harder for you to get into this new stuff. That there's already this other stuff. And what about this? I like this.
And it's really, really hard for me, and I will project and say for you too as well, to get in the head of a casual music fan.
Yeah.
I can't, it's impossible because you're saying
I just
what band really moves you. I have met a ton of people that I'm like, what's your favorite band? They're like, I don't have one.
They don't have
like,
one.
They don't care that much.
Me away.
I care so much that it's hard for me to answer that question for a different reason.
Right,
I'm just my favorite band. I don't know. There's a couple of them.
But there's a huge more probably
that
than the opposite,
favorite.
but there are more people than not that just don't care that much.
I've worked with
I love music. I love Lady Gaga because she's a personality. I keep using her as an example.
Yeah.
But
she's one that everybody knows.
But it's like, but other than that, like I don't know. I don't even know the names of the people that I hear on the radio. Like those kind of people. You know?
Right.
That's one thing that I think Apple Music and Spotify and stuff is good at helping.
Yeah.
You can't listen to something without knowing the song, the artist, the album, the year, all this information. When it comes on the radio, you're like, oh, I like the way that sounds.
Right.
And never going to know what it is or who did it or what year, any of that shit.
Yeah. Before modern cars where they had all the information like that.
Yeah.
Like you just didn't know.
Well, mine, yeah.
You had to go.
My car's not old,
somehow.
but it doesn't have all that.
Right.
So,
yeah. But most of them do now.
Yeah,
and
most of them definitely do now.
It's super interesting what that's doing. Like, putting all the information out in front of everybody in different ways now. It's a different thing.
I think it's
but you don't have a physical copy either, so there's that. Like a physical copy is definitely something tangible is easier to remember for me for some reason. Like if I look at the back of a record and like hold it and I check out all the songs on it, I don't know. I just for some reason I take it in a little bit.
I got you. And I teach a ton of students, and of course the first question I ask any of them in the first lesson is, "What music do you like? Why do you want to do this?"
That's good.
More often than not, the answer I get is, I don't really like music.
Wow.
so I'm like, the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
Like,
that seems
like music, dude.
Yeah, I've worked with people that I asked what kind of music they listen to, and they said I don't really listen to music, and that's the same kind of feeling. I'm just like, so what? So what are you doing? Like, what's in the background when you're doing stuff? Like, there's something going on.
For some people,
music's
audio.
They just don't care about it.
Just
and that's what I'm saying. It's hard for us to get in that headspace, but that headspace exists. And that headspace is a huge portion of the populace. Is what I'm saying.
So
we're sitting here arguing about rock music. These people couldn't even tell you what a rock song is.
Sure. And then when it gets even more trivial when you start thinking about like what scale I'm going to use and and we're in that headspace, and then these other people are like, oh, there was music on.
Yeah, it goes back to Gary Gray with Iowa Ears.
Right, exactly.
It goes back to that.
And it's hard, and the only thing I can think about like that in that headspace is go to listen to something completely different that's totally foreign to my ears, and like I'll go listen to some, I don't know,
like
crazy music, something,
like
just something like just totally out of my element, and I wouldn't like write like that or anything. But when I listen to that, I listen like a different person. I listen because I'm not listening to it from my perspective of the way I play my music. Whereas something closer to my genre, I listen to it more intently, I guess, or different. So I can feel what that feels like, and then I take that to my music again, and I go, okay, this is what that person feels like. They're listening to this for the first time, and then that's how I get in that headspace. That's really how I can.
I have a lot of trouble with that because I'm getting to a point now where I can identify most of the stuff I hear, even in I don't know, a film score or something.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, that was a cool use.
Because you've already been there. You've been in music for a long time.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, or I'm tuned out. But if I'm focused listening to something, it's very difficult to kind of turn that analytical part off.
So you just find it easier to tune out a little bit, like just kind of step back.
Then I realize I'm like, oh, how many? I listened to 6 songs on this album. Like, I've just been sitting here writing, and I didn't even realize. Yeah. It's like, so it didn't even register that I listened to it, so it's useless. So either way, it's like, I got to find that balance and really work at listening worse, if that makes sense. Not worse, but different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Not so detailed, you're like so hungry for the details or whatever. You gotta kind of just enjoy I don't know. It's weird.
I don't even know what we're talking about, dude.
You do. You do.
We're talking about people not knowing bands or not even really caring for music at all. And I'll say that it's so weird because when you hang around musicians a lot, and that's what you talk about most of the time, and
you don't even know what to talk.
And you dive into songs, like it's a different level of listening that we do when we're actually trying to listen to a song. Like I've been, say, riding in the car or maybe somewhere with someone listening to music, and like, dude, that organ part, or whatever, guitar. Lead guitar, rhythm guitar. I had to explain to somebody that lead, what lead and rhythm was. Like, they play two different things. What do you mean? It's like, do you hear the jun? That's the rhythm. Do you hear the do 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 do? That's the
They can't.
No, that's like, one dude with 8 hands.
Yeah, you gotta break it down to them because they're not even thinking on that level.
Or get this, I will show someone a song I did, for example, and it's me singing and then me stacking harmonies underneath, and they're like, "Oh, that you sound good. Who else is singing underneath you?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's all me." And they're like, "What?
Oh,
how did you do that?" I'm like, multi-track. Like I can go like
keep doing it over.
Some people don't understand that, and it's not a knock on them. They're not stupid or anything. It's just again,
they don't think about music that way.
That is not what they do.
Yeah.
So they don't think, they never really gave any thought that that's one dude.
Well, they've never had to do it either.
Right.
Like, once you have to do it, then you're like, "Oh, that's how you do that."
Right.
Yep.
I've had musicians come in my studio and say that stuff like, "Oh, who's going to do the harmonies?"
Of course, if you've never done it, if you've never done it, if you've never seen an interview of how they did it or something. That's why I like watching how you do stuff,
right?
Or how a band like the Black Album, when that was made, like that's well documented.
I love that documentary.
Well,
that was
documented.
Bob Rock, right?
Yeah, exactly, and it's really, really great.
They had that, weren't they in like a castle or some shit, mansion or something?
I don't know what it was. It was crazy though. It was cool. It was big old place.
Yeah,
they were at the top of their game.
I got to say this real quick. Steven Slate drums. Do you use Steven Slate drums?
I do not use them, but
they have a kit called the Black Kit.
Yeah,
which is clearly supposed to be the Black Album.
Right.
Kit. It's uncanny.
Yeah,
like,
that's awesome.
Especially the snare.
That's awesome.
It's ridiculous.
And you can sample that in with a live drummer.
You could just use it and like probably retrack the Black Album. And it would be like, whoa, this sounds really close to the Black Album.
It would sound like the drums sound big.
I'll show it to you in a second after this.
That's cool.
It's pretty crazy.
And Metallica is one of those bands that documents it all and puts it out there. Now they've put out the Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I think we might have actually talked about this before. That's all out there on YouTube. You can go watch how they made that whole record, like from ideas, starting in the very beginning, like they're sitting around with a guitar and Jamie goes, "Oh, that was cool," or something, or when Lars found the clip in the archives and was like, "This is what we should build a song around right here," and they take you all the way through it because they just film all the time. I guess the studio is fully filmed and then they just give it away now on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
They're making
great.
money.
Everybody should go watch it. Yeah, they must be, right.
Metallica, I don't know who they're paying to run their marketing right now.
They're killing it.
They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because
they're everywhere.
On top.
Yeah.
Their marketing is so genius. All their Instagram giveaways, everything they do is...
Yeah. And now they own all their own
music.
fan
club, all that stuff is like...
And now they own all their music. They all bought it all back. So they're 100% collecting on their records, that people are still buying today. And like we said, music's not going away. Like Metallica's still going to be, like some 18-year-old kid's going to find that and they're going to go, "This is cool." Like, I don't know how long it's going to take before they're like, Metallica's not cool. Like how many years, like, or decades, you know what I mean?
You mean till it's like classical music today, which people still go seek, obviously.
Right, but that was the beginning of music too. So you also got to think that the level music was at that time, it was good. Like, especially like when they first started recording it, it wasn't that great, right? The music was there. The
I'm talking like 1700s.
Sure. Like
Beethoven.
But they couldn't record back then, right? I probably sound like
such an idiot because I don't know what
I'm not
Beethoven
sure
was in. I did not do the whole music history thing. I did the whole music theory thing.
Sure. Yeah, I'm the same.
So unfortunately, all the people that are at music school right now are probably
they
wanting
know
to punch me in the dick.
Everybody can Google it.
Yeah. Anyway, old classical
music, right?
And that music was much more complex and insane than today's
super complex, right? Well, I don't know about more complex. It was
More complex. Absolutely more intricate and complex because think Metallica writes for 4 guys, Beethoven writes for like 300 or 100 or 70 or whatever. He's got to think about what one of the trombones is doing when 50 other people are, it's like it's way more.
When could they record music? When was that? Like the ability,
we'd have to go.
It was
do some research, or we're gonna sound real dumb.
Yeah, was it a phonograph or something? Whatever we get some Google
Logan's
going.
on it.
So yeah, it was like probably
we'll filibuster
probably some kind of needle on some sort of record, and maybe it probably wasn't vinyl or anything yet. Whatever.
See, I remember learning all this stuff, but it's been so long.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to think here.
And to me, it wasn't.
If that was
practical,
if that was 200 years ago, that was the beginning of what we have as recorded music, documented, recorded music, right?
Right.
And other than that, we have people writing about music, how we saw this, whatever, like that before it was actually possible to capture it. So that's not that long ago.
No, not at all.
So it's crazy to think that, that music already could potentially be done. Like some people don't listen to music. Like how crazy? What if that trend continues and now everybody only just watches everything on YouTube or does this? There's music in the background, but I don't know.
It really makes you wonder where it's going because the curve is exponential. So it starts very slow and then it picks up speed and it gets faster, faster, and steeper and steeper.
Sure. And there's no rules. Like it could go any direction. How long
until it's a vertical line? Like,
right.
I mean,
I don't know, man. It's all interesting. Did you find it?
Yeah. Supposedly, April 9th, 1860 was the...
1860.
Okay, so about 15, 20 years ago.
Yep, at least.
A little bit.
And it was of a woman, recording by a Frenchman, Edward Leon Scott.
Yeah, I remember that name. Yeah, that name.
And it was of a woman singing Au clair de la lune. I know I'm not pronouncing that right.
That song was written in 2001.
Oh, yeah. That's a new one.
Yeah.
I wrote that song.
Well, this article was written in 2009.
So that's the 1860s, we said?
Yeah, 1860.
That's crazy. So here we are, 2018, 1860. Do the math real quick. That's
years.
Yeah, less than 268 years.
At least 40 years.
You're not wrong.
So that is something that we don't know about. That's only 2 lifetimes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. There's hard to say what's going to happen next or, where it's going to go. The visual thing is kind of taken over now. Maybe that's why music is taking a back seat. Because before we had this crazy digital YouTube, where we can just go on there, look up anything, and just all of a sudden have a view on it. Why would music be as interesting now? Now we have music plus video.
And video, yeah.
Right. And we have, some crazy stuff coming out. I don't know if
media in general.
It's getting so easy for people to do.
VR.
Yeah, right. Now we're taking it to 3-dimensional. So
3-dimensional music videos where you're in the video.
Oh my God. And the 3-dimensional sound, the Osix 3D. Remember I sent you that about the headphones that they move with you. So your head turns and then the sound, it changes like as if you're in a room with music. So you can hear the drums over here now differently. When you turn, like that, it's going to put you in the room with music.
Hi, I'm Chad and I'm a virtual reality guitarist.
I'll play on your band. Totally. I said I'll play on your band.
What if they figure out...
Looking for a VR drummer and a VR bassist.
Yeah, I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to get a crazy, probably
We're just sitting here hypothesizing.
Yeah. What if they figured out how to make Guitar Hero guitars make actual music? Stupid. Like 5 notes.
I've seen people program those.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay, there's a guy named David Crowder. He's like contemporary Christian rock or whatever. Okay. He played a song or two with a programmed
Guitar Hero
guitar.
Wow.
We could do that with Christian rock.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right. You can do that with Christian rock because
That's awesome.
I have to share this stand-up bit that I saw, and then I have to ask you to answer the question. You'll know that you're the only one here that'll know the answer.
You're asking me to answer the question?
I will ask you. The guy is Pete Holmes. He says, one of my goals this year is I want to understand the trumpet. I don't want to learn how to play the trumpet. I just want to understand the trumpet because 3 buttons
make a lot of
notes. Makes no sense.
Yeah. I get
so Logan plays trumpet. He's got to explain to us how the trumpet works.
Yo, okay, good.
Okay,
I like
so
I butchered that bit, by the way, because it's hysterical.
Okay, well, go watch it. Go watch it.
Nah,
Pete Holmes HBO special.
I believe you. I chuckled softly to myself.
Sure. That's what Pete goes for, so I'm glad.
So actually, each key has a valve attached to it, and each valve has many holes inside, and they slide differently through the different tubes depending on when and what is pressed down. So let's say, I don't remember exactly how many holes are inside the valve, but let's say there's like 5 or 6 holes on each one. I don't think it's that many, like probably 3 on each one. There's like, let's see, it's 1, 2, 4 slide valves. And basically the air just changes with a combination of force.
So it's just a bunch of different permutations.
Yeah, force, embouchure, key combinations, and the pitch and pressure that you're applying with your lips.
Right. I was going to say, can you get octave sounds when you press harder and press quieter?
Pinching harder with your lips and pushing faster air, higher
Makes
octave.
A higher octave, right.
Looser lips, warmer, softer air for lower octaves.
Yeah, similar with saxophone. with the reed, you have to kind of press harder, blow harder, whatever. That kind of gives you in a different octave.
But I guess that one's not as perplexing because there's so many keys on the outside.
That's he actually used saxophone as a follow-up example. He's like, I understand saxophone. There's no secrets there.
Right. You're using all eight fingers plus your thumbs. You know, you got.
That's why all the smart kids play woodwinds because they can remember all the damn keys.
Yeah, I don't know. I always thought the same thing though. I never thought about the valve hole thing. Actually, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Trumpet's a mysterious instrument, so
it's not that mysterious now that you know the cat's out of the bag. It's like a magic trick.
Yeah,
it's pretty flagrant.
Like if you do a magic trick and then show somebody how you did it, they're just like, oh. It's never that amazing.
I don't know if I would describe something that just its sole purpose is to blast as mysterious.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's pretty flagrant.
They cut through a lot.
They do.
And one of the hardest times I've ever laughed.
He's gonna talk about this.
One of the hardest times I've ever laughed. I gotta get Logan to tell the story.
All right.
No, I think you should tell it, but okay, I will. So Dallas and I do some live local music, and we had an idea to like do some backing tracks, and I would play bass guitar and sing, and he would play guitar and sing, and we were doing a Stevie Wonder song, Superstition, and so I was like, he had some program trumpets in there. I was like, let me lay down some real trumpets, man. Let me get.
Yeah, we were gonna use the program one supplemented with the real
but
ones.
the thing is, I hadn't played trumpet in so long.
like a long time.
And you really have to condition. It's a perishable skill, like any instrument. You know, if you haven't played it for a while. So I just I'll figure out the notes for each one. I'll go in there. I'll lay down each of the harmonies. You know, each of the different parts. And it just like it's
so here's the thing. I'll take over here because you
get a different perspective.
You can get a guitar in tune and remember the chords and strum right along, and you sound fine. Not so with trumpet.
Yeah, I know. Same with saxophone. I'll tell you about saxophone.
I was sitting here listening to Logan.
You wouldn't
track.
happen to have.
I saved it all.
Dude, you wouldn't happen to want to play it with you.
No, I don't know. Do we want to do that too?
I'll maybe put some.
Maybe we can make it some bonus content for Patreon.
Yeah, there you go.
There's some bad trumpet players.
Here's some real bad.
It's
rusty trumpet players.
It's Rusty Trombone.
Rusty Trombone.
That's a great band name.
That's
the Rusty Trumpets.
Innuendo.
Rusty Trumpets. I love it. So it's hysterical. I mean.
The wind takes
Logan was on all fours, just dying.
I fell out of the sound booth, and it's hot in there. I was sweating from laughing so hard. The microphone was tangled, or the headphones were tangled around me, and my trumpet was in hand. I was just falling out of the closet to breathe fresh air.
I fell out of my chair, like, dude. It was the kind of laugh where the whole room was silent for like 45 seconds.
That's hilarious
because we were just laughing so hard.
That's hilarious. Logan, did you remember when you first started playing trumpet? How hard it was to breathe in and get all the notes, and then you breathe in, and then after like a long time of playing, because this was the way it was for me at saxophone, like after a long time of playing, you're just like, man, my chest feels like I got a workout. Like as a kid, I remember this feeling, and I was like, that's actually like kind of hard to do. Well, that like building on that, you actually get pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And then when you stop doing that, all of a sudden you don't know what you're like, oh yeah, I gotta like. Your lungs get practiced. Yeah.
Well, actually, I started playing trumpet in 6th grade band.
Okay, that's when I started playing saxophone. So.
Yeah, but I was a pretty big. Like I've been about the same size. I've always had like a large body shape, and I think I have just big lungs because my I played pretty well, and I don't want to toot my own horn. But
big lungs Henley over there.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I was, my band director told me he thought I was the most proficient. He actually moved me to tuba because I was one larger, and he could tell that it wasn't
That's
tough
just
for
what
me.
They tell you so that way you'll play it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, wait, I got to carry this to school now?
he totally conned me for sure.
Yeah, that's what they
sucks.
He knew the other little, shrimpy
Trumpet's the one you want. They're always the band leaders, aren't they?
And it's real small, nice carry. Throw it over your shoulder, whatever you want.
Throw it over your shoulder? What fucking trumpet are you using?
I throw mine all over. No, I'm just kidding. The saxophone's actually the same size. It takes the neck off and whatever. It's like exactly the same size.
It looks like a trumpet case, yeah.
But see, I never did any of the band orchestra or choir in school.
Yeah.
I did. I started guitar, and I couldn't find a place for me to play guitar in school, so I just didn't do any of that.
Yeah, because it
didn't occur to me that I could learn something else and be a better musician. That didn't occur to me.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's not guitar. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that's not why I don't think I've started playing saxophone, though. I think I had a genuine interest in music, and then this was something that was
this
offered
before you started playing guitar, though?
Definitely.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah. So then I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but at school they were offering this, and I'm like, I like music, so let's see where this goes. They're not offering guitar lessons, so that's not even a thing. And I wasn't really into music like that yet, so I liked music. I knew I liked it, but I didn't know what I liked.
This just occurred to me. If time travel ever exists, I want to go back and watch myself get into the guitar and see how that happened because I don't really remember all the details.
Yeah, you're so young.
I remember I heard Welcome to the Jungle and I thought I have to do that.
Yeah.
And someone was like, well, here's an electric guitar. And I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And from there. And I don't remember anything really further than that. I remember the first song I learned to play that actually sounded like the song was Hell's Bells. Yeah. Because it's very easy.
Yeah.
I knew the chords to Welcome to the Jungle, but I would play it and the rhythm wasn't right. I couldn't get it.
It's a hard one. Yeah, it's a tough one to start with.
Yeah. And that's just the
but that's tough. Like I remember the first time I realized how fast you have to go. Yeah, once I first started playing, I remember like realizing, man, how do they move so fast? Like, because I looked up the tab and I'm just like, okay, they're taking this and then they go there, and it just took me a long time to realize that that's just how proficient you can get. You can train your hands to do that. And then you
get there and you realize, and then you see someone like Greg Howe and you're like, oh, this isn't anything.
Yeah, that's the problem with the internet now.
Yeah, it took me so long to get there. Yeah.
Well, before it was the best thing I heard. Like Guns N' Roses was the best thing ever, and then like now there's YouTube. You go on there and you're like, yeah, Guns N' Roses is great. There's a lot of other stuff out there, and that's.
It's funny. I spend very little time on YouTube. I do not really watch videos. I don't really like watching videos. I would prefer to listen to something or read something. I do not like watching videos.
I like YouTube for podcasts now, actually. I love like just throwing them on the TV because then you're doing around the house, whatever you're doing, dishes, whatever, just throw a podcast on. You're just like
to the point, I take it to the point that if there's a video showing me how to do something and an article telling me how to do something, I do the article every time.
Really? I'll take the video.
So you're almost like pulling away from the video thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Some of them are terrible. That's the problem.
A lot of times I don't have the time. I don't have the time, dude. I'll read it and learn it way faster than the 6 minutes this guy's gonna sit here and tell me.
I think that's the key to a good video for all our listeners out there. If you're making a how-to video, stop worrying about how much. Yeah, stop worrying about how much people are listening to you, and stop thinking about that. How about get the information out there as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Also, with how-to videos, it can be. And I know we're going kind of off topic.
But off topics are welcome.
But like they're so infuriating when let's say how to fill your radiator with coolant. It's a how-to video, and the guy's like, I just I got this one's green. You might have a different color. Some cars have orange. Some cars have red, and this is all stuff you're having to listen to before he just shows you how to fill your radiator with coolant.
Yeah, you might have to. You might find 2 or 3 videos like that before you find a really good one, and you're just like, man, I'm glad there's something.
I can see that the equivalent of that video in text. Scan it real quick and know everything in 30 seconds.
And there's something about
6 minutes.
There's something so much like more concrete about text. Like if it got edited and published, like it's most likely like pretty good. YouTube is anybody can upload straight to it. So there is no.
And also like I don't always want to like have audio blaring out of my phone. Like, I may be sitting in a doctor's office. I may be sitting in a place where I don't need audio.
Are key. Headphones are key.
Just a cool thing called
I don't
headphones.
like headphones that much.
Do you know those beanies? You ever wear a beanie? Because they got those ones with the headphones in them. Those are great.
I don't, but I know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah, they're Bluetooth too. So you hook it up to your phone, then you can listen to your things right here.
I bet that is the most popular beanie in all of high school everywhere.
I think so. I see a lot of people wearing them. I wear one. I don't care.
Like Heelys for your head.
Oh, that's too far.
Remember those?
Because it's just a beanie.
I never owned a pair of Heelys, but everyone else did.
Yeah, I wanted Heelys. I never did have them.
Yeah, I
never had them. It was one of those things. My mom was like, "Fuck no." She was like, "I'm not letting you lose with those things. You'll be knocking stuff off the shelves at stores,
dude.
I'll be paying for it."
I had the balls to have Heelys in high school, and nobody dared pick on me about it. In fact, I had people push me to class.
That's awesome. I think if you just embrace it, like, listen, embarrassment is only in your own head.
It's like, look, I want Heelys.
I know. It's when you're young. It's like weird. You're just like, I don't know. I'll probably put those on. Everybody will make fun of me, and they get all weirded out about it. And if you just embrace it, you're just like. So you got a problem with me having wheels in my shoes?
Yeah, it's like,
Well, dude, the best thing you can do is, some high schooler calls you gay and you just go, dude, I'm so gay. And you just keep walking and they're stunned. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And
you shit, that works on everybody.
You go about your day and it's like, they don't know what the fuck to do.
How am I supposed to oppress this kid if he doesn't care if he's gay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like back when that actually meant something.
Yeah. And it doesn't ever mean anything. But,
but it's just kids being kids.
It is.
Well, it's like, who did that comedy bit?
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. I don't know if I would dare repeat it.
Yeah, it's a little. Well, it's Louis C.K.
He throws out some slurs towards the homosexual community, but he's like, I don't say that because I'm like dissing the homosexual community. I'm just saying it because you're being one of those guys. As a censored version.
It's a great bit. That's the censored version. This is an uncensored show, but I don't know. That feels
I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, we don't need to
get. What was the last thing on the discussion list? We've spent a lot of time today dancing around the subject, but we kept talking about how music is not that old.
Yeah.
It's weird. We were born I don't know how to phrase this the best way possible, but we're not old. We're pretty young.
Yeah.
And most of the musicians that are the most popular musicians ever are still alive. Most of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost Elvis and stuff like that. And of course, the recent ones, Prince and such.
Yeah.
But most of them are still alive.
Yeah.
Most bands that have made a huge lasting impact on society are still alive.
Yeah.
In the next 5 to 10 years, I don't think they will be.
Yeah.
And that's something I wanted to talk about.
That's so strange, right? Because we're at the, like back what we were talking about, we're at the beginning of music.
You said 10 to 15, but you got to factor in the body abuse.
True.
From years of heroin use.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
You may survive the heroin use, but you're not living to your 90s. Well, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and the only thing the heroin really did for the musician is give him a cool story to tell, or something to sing about, something to talk about, whatever, right? So, anyways, but
and keep
we're
them
back
ripped for all of eternity.
Right, exactly.
That's what Burr says.
Yeah. So,
you do heroin once, you're ripped for life.
Yeah. As we were lucky enough to be born in the beginning of the music like era, and we're like a little bit past the beginning, like, you know what I mean?
Well, depends on how far zoomed out you are on history.
Right.
We're significantly past.
I'm talking about recorded history, and that. So I mean, that's literally in our parents' lifetime. Like our grandparents could have been the first people to hear recorded music. You know what I mean? We're really early, 3 generations. That's not very long.
Like bebop and
how far can we go?
In a way to relate it, like people in the 70s only just got color TV.
Right.
So I know music goes further back than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
And
like as far as modern technology and a big scope, like you're talking about like prehistory to now.
Yeah,
you're saying,
think about it. Yeah, I mean, how long people have been on this earth. Like nobody figured out how to record. Just think about how hard that is right now. I still don't understand how a needle on a record.
Oh yeah, it's mind blowing.
Hits these vibrations. That goes to a little cable on the end of the needle. That goes to 2 giant speakers, or to an amplifier, and then giant speakers, and you hear stereo, left and right difference. Where is that coming in? I don't get it. There's not 2 needles.
I don't see a single guitar.
There's not 2 needles. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's a little farther out. Like
there's no guitars on this little turntable.
How am I hearing guitars?
Yeah. So that concept
How do they
to
fit
me,
the drums in here?
That concept to me is still intangible almost. It's like I don't fully understand that, and that's all new. Like now we're talking about we don't need anything. It streams through the air.
Well, I am not 100% sure if it's the same for vinyl records, but as you guys know, but the listeners don't, I work in the CD, DVD, Blu-ray industry currently, and it's all pits and lands. It's actually just a laser cutting little divots into a layer of something to make that digital sound, and it's kind of the same technology as what the vinyl was, but I know that's boring shit. Let's change the subject.
I want to get back to the.
I'm bored.
I agree, though. I think it's still even mind blowing.
Oh, it's mind blowing for sure.
Yeah.
I just can't even really comprehend it.
Yeah,
I'll just stick to 6 strings and.
Yeah, I mean that's easy.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Just do what you do.
But we're looking at a world in our lifetime. All of the bands we love will not be here anymore.
Yeah.
As we've talked about a little bit, we touched on it on other episodes.
We've been hypothesizing about the future. I wanted to talk about what that might be like.
Yeah.
What's the world where, I mean, it's kind of morbid, but all of Aerosmith is dead. All of Guns N' Roses is dead. All of these people that you idolize and love,
a whole generation of music will be gone. And that's
just like the generations that have been gone before. But this is now a generation of people that have impacted the world in a big way through music.
More people than ever. More people. Now there's more people on the planet than ever. So now there's more people influenced by this great music that was promoted with, through record labels any way they could and whatever. And then other stuff just didn't get promoted because you can't promote everybody.
Pioneers, really. I mean, all these guys were pioneers of what we know today, or what, how we see or hear music today.
Yeah.
Because, you had idols like Elvis, and he was a pioneer. He was, little racy for his time period, and he was controversial and stuff, but we listen back now, it's like, oh, that's that good, wholesome oldies.
We think of that as nice. Yeah, that's a society thing. I think we've gotten like more crude.
What will the
We're
music
only going
be
to
like?
get more crude, I think.
What will music be like when we look back at Guns N' Roses as the nice, wholesome oldies?
Yeah, that's still weird for me that Guns N' Roses is classic rock. Like they threw that on there too quick. What's classic? 20 years old, or whatever it is.
80s.
Yeah, it's crazy.
90s hasn't quite gotten classic yet.
No, there's some oldies and classic stations that are playing that.
I wonder if the people that decide this, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Billboard people or whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's like a year, like it's got to be 25 plus years or 30 plus years, whatever it is.
I think they're making
and it just moves like this.
I think it's 25. I think it's 25.
So each year, a new year becomes classic rock.
Yeah. like for cars, 25 years it classifies it as a classic, you know. And also you have to be a band for 25 years to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So
right.
that seems like a pretty good
25 years is a good probably guess, yeah.
Quarter of a cinch.
Interesting. So every quarter century a new wave of music comes in.
Yeah, so if that's true, that means that at least if you're over 25, were born, you know, the songs that were coming out then, that music is now classic.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So once you're 25, that music that was written when you were 25. Born. Yeah, so that music that was written on your 92. Birth year is now.
So Nirvana's not quite classic because, they came out in the 90s. I keep thinking of 96 because that's when he died.
Right.
But I'm not personally a big Nirvana fan, so I don't know much about their career. But
man, that's so strange, though.
Because it's weird to think of the 90s as classic anything.
Yeah, so... I mean, 2000 is going to be classic after that. Like, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess I
also seem to notice patterns where music and fashion and culture seems to be kind of cyclical.
Yeah.
With about a 10, 15, 20 year thing. Like, you start to see, like, a while there, you were starting to see 80s fashion come back, and now you're starting to see kind of 90s fashion come back. You know what I mean? Same with music. You started to see, we're starting to see kind of that 80s pop, like the 1975, the Night Game, all those guys kind of come in with that style, starting to become pretty big.
Yeah, and it's subtly different. It's not like it's not a
maybe
repeat.
It's closer to 30 years.
It's not a repeat or anything. We're in a different time now, so that same style.
It's like a modernized version. Yeah. But you listen to She's American, and it could totally be a Michael Jackson song,
right?
Or you know, a Prince song.
But it could have the Michael Jackson song could have never been recorded like it is now.
Right.
Like that's something totally new. Right. So now we're throwing everything we've gained over the years. We've learned technology. Just being able to communicate with each other now through the internet, like so much faster and that kind of thing, like changes the whole game. Like it's always going to change. There's never going to, because we're always going to be building. We're always going to be learning, doing new stuff, and that's what our music's going to reflect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all the same, only the names will change.
Oh, God.
Man, Bon Jovi reference, man. That's a good one.
So we were talking about Bon Jovi one day, and he actually hits me with that line. Didn't even mean to do the reference.
Yeah, I did that by accident one day. It was
hilarious. We were talking about street signs or something, right?
Yeah, we were talking about the roads here in South Carolina, like how you can be driving down one road, not turn, not make any change, and all of a sudden you're on a different road, and the road name you were on is somewhere else now. Yeah. So like you had to turn right to stay on Highway 5, for example.
So then he says,
but now you're on
it's
201.
All the same, only the names changed.
That's did by accident. It was great.
Yeah. I was like,
well, that's a good one.
But speaking of the time we're in too, another interesting thing is all the people born in Y2K are adults now in 2018.
Yeah.
So those are the people that we're seeing, you know, making decisions now.
Yeah. That's an easy one because of the hard 2000 number.
That's crazy because my brother was born in 2001.
There you go. So he'll be 17 this year?
Yeah, I think he just turned 16. So.
Okay. That's crazy.
In October.
That's crazy. He's
Too much
driving cars.
For like,
no, he's going to be driving cars.
Like,
no, it's just that idea of the generation. Like it's
and
coming. It's always coming.
Those are the people when you talk to is like, you know, we think of, let's say, Journey, for example, because we were in the Journey tribute thing. Yeah. You know, everybody knows Journey, right?
Right.
Not these people.
Not those. They don't know.
Yeah.
Well, see,
like
even,
I worked
even
with
they
some,
do though. Like even my brother and his friends love.
They know Don't Stop Believing. Right. They
not
have
everybody
to.
though.
How do you
most people do though. That song at least.
Yeah. Don't Stop Believing. You got to know that
because those are classics, and still we're carrying that on. Like here we are talking about it now. The people listening to this podcast who are like, who's Journey? Don't Stop Believing.
Journey isn't.
You know what I mean? And then they go listen to Don't Stop Believing, and there it is. Like we just passed it on.
Yeah. I think our target audience knows who Journey is.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I'm not saying that anybody, but if anybody doesn't know. Right now, we just through talking about it, through being fans of it,
absolutely,
just passed it on. You know what I mean? That's all it takes. So
I know
we stays alive for as long as it will stay alive.
I know we have a lot of listeners that are fans of Syndigo, and I know that's kind of a younger demographic. So we definitely do have some listeners that are, you know, younger and may not know the things that we know about old music necessarily.
And then
I don't know.
How interesting, hypothetically, if we follow that, would it be that we were the reason that somebody found out about Journey, one of the greatest and most well-known bands?
As long as these kids listening goes. So that's another 60 years of Journey, and modern medicine's getting better, so maybe it's another 80 years of Journey living out through the world. Oh, I was watching the show Altered Carbon. You see that?
I've seen it on Netflix. I've not watched it.
Get ready for that one, guys. That one's a mind twister, dude.
Yeah,
like,
sounds cool.
People live on forever. You just get a new body when your body gives up.
That's interesting.
Altered Carbon.
You got to watch it. I don't want to go into too much, but you got to
watch it then. That's cool.
It's
you sold
crazy.
Me. Well, it's time to move on to a new section. Matt, you know what time it is. What time is it?
I don't know. You didn't tell me.
Damn it, dude.
I'm going to guess?
Yeah.
Is it the album of the week?
It's the album review. Yes, here we go.
Yes.
It's time for an album review.
Yeah, so not too long ago, a good friend of mine turned me on to this band called Turnstile, and their first record is super cool, super punky, but now they just recently came out with this new record called Time and Space.
Very recently.
Yes, like last 2 weeks, I think. Within the last 2 weeks.
Within the last month, for sure.
Yeah, I've been listening to this single for a little while, and then the new album dropped. It's amazing. I love it from front to back. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, and I've listened to it less than you have.
Yeah.
My favorite track is Generator.
Yeah. Great one. That was a single.
Heavy
that was a
riff.
single. When I heard that, I was like, "This is gonna be cool."
That was the single.
I don't know if it was the first one. There was Real Thing, and then there was Generator. Which I don't know which one came first.
Well, Generator's dope.
It is dope.
All the songs are good. Yeah, I like them all. I mean,
it's an example of what we always talk about.
Most of it sounds like it belongs on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4.
Yeah. What's wrong with that though? Why is that even
wrong with that?
Exactly.
I'm just
that's
saying
so great.
That's exactly what it reminds me of.
Those are my favorite songs.
And it also sounds like Metallica Against the Machine.
Yeah,
That was
which I
the other
love.
joke
And
I
the
made.
first record has a little bit more of that Rage
formula.
Against the Machine feel, but this one still has it. And
It's somehow got the Rage feel with monster riffs, and Rage has monster riffs anyway. But this is a different kind of monster riff. This is like a Metallica style.
yeah, so it's what we always talk about. It's like there's so many like mix and matching you can do. Like now they've almost created this new genre. What is this? Is it? It's you know it's a metal and punk mixture type thing, and it plus Rage or whatever if you call Rage punk. I don't know. Like what do you call
man.
Rage?
I'm not. I hate to be that guy, but
it's just
I'm not
rock.
really the guy that like labels
the
music.
the subgenres. But my point being is that you take the elements and you just take one, from this band, there's that element from this band, and I don't think they're doing it like that. I don't think they
No, not at all.
are.
They just kind of throw all their shit together.
Here's what they listen to and what they like and associate themselves with,
And they blended it up,
and they put
and that's
that
what they
into the
spit
music,
out.
and here's what it comes out.
Exactly.
And it's interesting. Like as long as you're yourself, it doesn't matter. Like you don't have to be completely original. Just be yourself. Be what feels natural to you. Get with some other guys that are also being themselves and make it work. A little compromise here and there. It's just like one guy. If it comes all from one guy's mind, then that's what that's going to sound like. And if that guy only likes Metallica, guess what? That band's going to sound like Metallica.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is you let everybody.
This
do
band
their
clearly
thing.
likes Metallica because that one riff you showed me.
It's Metallica, yeah.
It probably is a Metallica riff.
Yeah, and I don't think he was
Well,
like,
you
I
know
love
what
that
I'm saying.
Metallica riff. I'm gonna put that in my song.
Yeah,
he probably just stumbled upon it like in the feel and in the vein of Metallica and put it in there.
Yeah.
And then
You know
what
what I'm
everybody's doing what everybody else is doing on top of it changes that Metallica feel to actually something a little different, just slightly. But that riff is Metallica riff.
Absolutely. Great album. I would recommend you definitely listen to it. Matt recommended it to me, and I love it.
Yeah, the intro.
And I'm going to spend more time listening to it. I haven't had the time
It's one of those ones you really gotta.
yet, rather.
Yeah,
But,
you gotta listen to it front to back because in between.
But I had it
the
playing while we were
songs-
setting up, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's fun, happy. Not super happy.
For those of you that, it's not super happy, but for those of you that want to check
Makes me
it out, check out the show notes page on our website, themusicianstalkshow.com.
Yeah.
Make sure you put the word "the" in there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say though, the whole experience is great because in between the tracks they have I would call it elevator music, and I love that. I just think it's such a contrast from this raging song and then
Like really fast, like 1 minute, 45
real
second
jazzy.
punk.
And they're all real short songs, so it never really gets boring. Which
Because
is
they play it like tempo, like 240.
yeah, they're fast. They're fast. They're good.
Anyway,
Check it
like
out.
I was saying, on the show notes, we'll link to the album so you guys can check it out right there.
Yeah,
Anything else to add about Turnstile?
check it out. It's awesome.
Check
Love
it out. It's awesome. It's time for Solo of the Week.
Solo of the Week.
All right, this week we have one of my favorite musicians, John Mayer. The track is Out of My Mind, which is a 10-minute epic slow blues off of his 2007 live album, Where the Light Is. One of my favorite albums of all time. One of the best live albums of all time. Again, just my opinions. Also a video. You guys should absolutely check that out. Where the Light Is. Fantastic. This track's called Out of My Mind. Let's take a listen. Hey, what's up, guys? Dallas here. You know what time it is. YouTube won't let us play the Solo of the Week here. So if you want to check it out, feel free to subscribe to us on iTunes or just search it on your own. Let's get back to the show. All right. Thoughts?
I really like it. I'm glad you showed it to me. I think it's fun to do this segment like this because if we just swap back and forth guitar solos and albums.
I don't know if the listeners know this, but Matt, every time we do a talk show, Matt picks one and then I pick one and then Matt picks one.
I think we said it. If not, then that's how,
we switch off who picks the album review and the solo of the week.
And it's kind of that surprise fun. It's that factor that you like get with your friend, like your buddy, and like you guys, maybe once a week you trade like, hey, what have you been listening to lately? And then you know,
and we kind of do that anyway.
Do that.
So this is a nice way to do it and let other people in.
Exactly. So, you know, a lot of times it's the first time hearing stuff, you know, whatever, because we're kind of trying to surprise each other.
That's what I love about it.
Right, yeah, it's fun. It's really fun.
I throw shit that I know you haven't probably heard.
Exactly, because it keeps it interesting and it's fresh topics. So I love it. I love his bluesy style. We when we were listening to it, I was noticing that the tremolo, the way he has it in some spots, and then some spots he specifically leaves it off and just lets the note
really hang.
Yeah,
which when you don't have that vibrato, which is so natural to the human voice, which is where it comes from.
Yeah. That's what
you
makes it
feel that suspense. You feel it like pulling at you, which is a very blues thing.
Yeah,
and his phrasing is, I mean, he's got a bunch of Stevie Ray Vaughan style licks. I just love his playing.
Yes, I hear a lot of Buddy Guy in it too. He's one of my favorite blues players.
Yeah,
and
Mayer's a blues monster.
Yes.
And so when this came out in 2007, that was around the time that I think nobody really knew he was a good guitar player.
Yeah, there was a while there where everybody was kind of like, wow, John Mayer can play guitar.
He was the Justin Bieber of that time, where people were like, oh, fuck John Mayer. You know?
Yeah, and then when everybody found out he could play, I remember there was videos everywhere of him just
right around the time I got into him was the time where there were two John Mayer camps. There were people that were like, I hate John Mayer. And I'm talking about like musicians. There were people that were like, I hate John Mayer. And there were people that were like, wow, he's actually a really good musician.
Right.
Now, in 2018, everyone's on board.
Yeah, it seems like everybody knows. The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah,
John Mayer's awesome.
Every musician was at his show that Logan and I went to. Like every musician in Charlotte. I mean, he has Steve Jordan. He's got Pino Palladino. He's got these all-star musicians.
And this
with him.
solo
He's an all-star musician.
Is awesome, like from front to back. Like
absolutely.
How long was it? 2 minutes.
It was like right around 2 minutes. 2 minutes 10 seconds.
That's perfect time, and then like it feels so natural, and it's live.
And you got to remember, I would suggest everyone go listen to this song. It's a really long 10-minute song, slow blues.
Yeah.
And it's an original.
Yeah.
So
it's killer.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily see much original slow blues from a pop star.
Right. That's cool.
And he kills it. So it's a lot of, sing a line and then do a lick and sing a line, do a lick. Very classic blues.
Yeah. I would say his tone too reminded me of Jimmy. Like just the classic Strat sound.
If you watch the video, he's playing his black Stratocaster. He calls it the black one.
Yeah. It
was his go-to guitar for many, many, many years. This thing has more paint chipped off than it has left on.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just, you can tell it's got, this guitar has some sort of X factor, at least to
There's
John.
Definitely a story. It's like one of those guitars that if it could speak,
absolutely.
Those stories it could tell, who knows how many hands it's been passed through before he got it.
I don't know the full story on that guitar, but I think that's the one that he's had basically all his music
career.
Playing live.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's cool.
Interesting stuff. Anything else on John Mayer out of my mind? Logan, any thoughts?
Yeah, I was just going to say I enjoyed seeing John Mayer last year live for the first time. And
that was last year. Damn.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while. But he puts together an interesting show, too, because he's got different acts for the show. He's got what live trio did he start with?
He's got I don't remember what he started with, but he has 3 components. He's got the full band, the trio, which everyone loves, and the solo acoustic, where he just literally comes out by himself.
So he's cool. And obviously, I mean, like, the only way you can describe John Mayer is just smooth and sexy, like he captures people's attention. You can almost see like all the ladies, just freaking out, just they're in love with him. Yeah. So it's awesome to see him, and man, it gives me faith because like we were talking about earlier, he's one of the ones that's keeping guitar alive because he's one of the ones that everybody knows who John Mayer is.
That's a really good point. He's approaching 40, if not 40.
Okay. Older than
which
I
is
thought,
surprising.
Older than I thought, yeah.
Yeah, he may be late 30s, but he's not early 30s anymore.
Yeah, so when did he start coming on to the scene? Like
his first album, I want to say, was 2005, Room for Squares.
Okay. So that's
and that had
15 years ago.
Do you want to check me on that, Logan?
15 years ago.
Room for Squares or
John Mayer Room for Squares. I want to say it was 2005. It may have been earlier than that.
Yeah. So that
may have been 2001.
Yeah, so his music career I would say probably started a little later actually, as far as like when you generally see it, you see it early 20, like real early bands kind of know if they're going to be something, or like there's a lot of those bands now you see it and they're like getting record deals already, and they're like, just in high school and stuff.
John Mayer's a poor example. He had one little acoustic EP And then his first album, Room for Squares, which I'm talking about. Do you have the year on that?
2001.
2001. Okay,
so 18 years basically. We're looking at.
Right. Yeah. His first album had Neon, Your Body Is a Wonderland, Why Georgia, No Such Thing, like a ton of hits.
That puts him right at his early 20s when that first album. That puts, if he's 40 now,
roughly 40.
Yeah, that puts him right around that right time. So I guess that's not, but it does. I was just gonna say it takes a long time to get good at guitar, and maybe like that first part of his career, he's literally learning. He's writing songs.
He went to Berklee School of Music.
Did he?
For 1 semester.
Early, like before his career, or some point in the middle of his career? Okay.
He went there for 1 semester and then dropped out and moved to Atlanta, and then he made it big in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Right on. That's cool.
That's nice. Yeah. So it's encouraging to see that, because he is one of those guys that I guess we could, by our description that we've used, is
absolutely
popular.
Everyone knows John Mayer.
Everybody knows John Mayer, and he's one of the dudes keeping blues alive. It's like
trying
he said
his
at
best,
the beginning of that video, like, how wild is it that we're having just this live free blues, and it's in, what was it, Vegas or Los Angeles?
He's in LA, and he says at the very beginning of the song, this is not in the solo that you guys heard, but at the very beginning of the song, he says, let me first just say, I've heard this so many times, I about got it damn word for word. He says, let me say how wonderful it feels to know that it's 2007 and we just launched into a slow blues and 7,000 people in LA went wild. Yeah, all is not lost.
That's awesome. Yeah,
he does captivate the crowd, and he's a funny guy too.
He's genuinely funny. Yeah,
like he just had everybody cracking up, between songs.
One thing he did, he was playing Your Body Is a Wonderland, which is one of his nice, sappy hits that all the girls love. Halfway through, he legit just stops and looks out into the crowd and goes, "All right, guys, hang on, we're almost through it." And we're getting to the trio in just a second. And then he just launches right back into it. I love seeing that shit. It's like, he's one of those guys that doesn't take himself too seriously.
Yeah. That's interesting too, because when you're on stage, everything can feel super serious. You're like, all right, I got to do this.
Don't mess up.
This show. Don't mess up. Right. So then when you see somebody on stage who's not just taking it super serious and they're having fun, that connects to fans. People who are watching that feel comfortable watching it. They feel more comfortable watching that than somebody who's up there nervous. So you have to be able to let yourself go up there and be yourself, because otherwise you're gonna it all works like together, like feeds off each other. It all
absolutely
has to,
Closing comments.
Are we looking at me? Why everybody wants
anyone, Matt or Logan? I'm looking at you because my mic's facing this way, but
yeah, I mean, who knows what the future of music holds? That's all. That's the biggest thing I think we talked about. Is like, it's really weird to know.
I'm excited more than anything to maybe be a part of it.
Yeah, hopefully we have a part in shaping that.
Yeah, and as a fan and a consumer, just see what happens. I mean, don't stress. Don't think it's the end of the world. Let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's all going to go in the way that people want it to go. So, I mean, if we're still wanting music and we still love music, it's not ever going to go away. Like, we're going to make sure it's still here.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, you heard it here first, Matt Tolley. All right, you guys, let's get to that outro. Here we go. Hey, guys. First of all, thank you so much for listening. If you could please take a quick moment to subscribe on iTunes and leave a rating and review. Your feedback seriously is really important, and it helps us keep the show alive.
Check out musicianstalkshow.com to sign up for our mailing list. If you do, we're going to send you our main theme song and a few other surprises. Plus, you'll always be the first to know what episodes are coming up.
If you want to help support the show so we can keep putting out the highest quality content possible, please follow the Support the Show link at our website and consider donating to our Patreon page.
Lastly, if you have an idea for a guest or a question you want to discuss, contact us through any of the contact forms on our website, and we'll do everything we can to make it happen.
Whew, all right. That was a lot, but we got through it. Thanks again, guys, and we will see you soon.